My typical day is I wake up at 4:45. Sometimes I hit the snooze button and I get up at 5 and I get myself ready for work. And I usually try not to read text messages or look at my email until I actually get to work because it's better. I need that time in the commute to prepare myself for the day. So, which usually requires listening to very loud music on the way to work, even though it's early. So then I get to the studio. I have a card that has my picture on it, my ID card. I, at this point, know all the guards, so I swipe my card and wave, and they're very nice, cheerful people who always say good morning. I get out of the car, park my car in my space, which is exciting because I finally have a parking space. After years of working and having a space is a big deal. And I go straight to the stage to watch the first rehearsal. I usually stop and grab a cup of coffee, watch the first rehearsal, listen to what the actors and the director are talking about in terms of how they want to shoot the scene. If there's any questions, if there's any problems, which are usually how much time do we have to do this? What is this what these decisions are often made beforehand, but something changes during the day. So now we have to address things like, so is that what you're going to wear? Well, that actually doesn't look the way we thought it would look in the scene. So they're going to change that. Fortunately, that doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. Then the actors, we block the scene. We find out where they're going to move, and the director works with them on how they're going to move. The camera's set up. They light the scene. The actors go back and finish getting ready for the scene. Then they continue to light. The actors come back. We rehearse the scene one more time, and then we start shooting the scene. After they go through that process at least once, and everything seems settled and fine, and the day has started off to a good start, then I move on and go up to my office, which usually means I have to go back to my car, get my bags, go up to my office. First thing I do is turn on the computer and look at my emails and see if there's anything immediate to address. There might be one or two things. I take care of that. And then the accountants get in at 9 o'clock, and then they bring me large envelopes of things to sign, which usually involves signing checks for various crew members for their petty cash or for various vendors that we use. And then that way everyone gets paid, or they're able to purchase things that we need for the show or for the set. So sometimes that's clothing, sometimes that's props, sometimes it's hairspray, it's makeup, but I have to sign off on everything that we buy. After that, I'll go back down to the set, and that usually takes a few hours. I'll go back down to the set. I'll watch a couple more scenes, make sure everything's going. And right before lunch, I'm usually on the set to make sure that we can break on time. And if we can't, because we're in the middle of a scene, I'll decide if we should keep going or if we should go ahead and break, and then we'll get back to that scene after lunch. But that's usually determined by what's happening in the scene, and are we trying to get someone finished with because it's a difficult scene or varying reasons. Then we will break for lunch for an hour. People go off, they eat. During that time, I usually go back up to my office. I have more envelopes with more checks to sign. I finish doing that. We're back from lunch. I go back, watch the first couple of scenes, and maybe just one or two takes of each scene. Make sure everything's still going well. Then I go back up to my office. There's a lot of walking in my job. I go back up to my office, and that's usually when I start really looking at all of the emails and all the different information that comes in. Sometimes that's cost reports. Sometimes it's something that we call the hot cost, which is the immediate cost that we can calculate for the day before, because we have a certain budget and we have to stay within those guidelines, and we try not to overspend, though sometimes that happens. Then after that, when I usually try to complete all of my paperwork by 5 or 6 p.m., even though we're still shooting, it's just difficult for me to do that kind of work after a certain hour. So then I will go back down to the stage, and that's when I usually run around and talk to different crew members about things that are coming up in the week, and I want to know what they need. Part of my job is a bit of a service position. I need to know what is it that you need so you can do your job better. And it's my job to provide you with what you need so you can do your job better. And same thing with the actors. We want to provide them with an environment that they can do their best work. And so that requires a lot of listening. So I spend a lot of time listening to people tell me what it is that they need so they could do their best job.